Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here today to do a special episode all about some of the biggest travel scams out there. So what to look out for and what to avoid. And we know some of y'all, it is coming up to be summertime very soon. It's around the corner, people. We know y'all are going to be traveling. So we hope you can avoid some travel scams. Maybe save you a little bit of money, frustration, and just peace of mind, you know? So without further ado, I am joined by my fantastic co-host and definitely one of my buddies that brings lots of peace of mind. So without further ado, my co-host, Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello, Chad. Hello, Chad. All about the travel scams. I think a popular travel scam that some tourist might find themselves in is coming to the U.S. and not being involved in some sort of mass shooting event. You know, you come to America, you expect a certain treatment, which involves potentially getting shot. So if you fly all the way over here from Europe, you know, Asia, Africa, and you don't somehow experience gun violence, people might think that this whole gun violence thing is a scam. Welcome to the pod. That's a nice, soft, fun way to open it up. You can follow us on Untranslatable Podcast on Instagram. If you're interested, you can see Chad's van. And you can also see his feet, which I find interesting. He decided to include his feet in the Instagram. So if you're he has socks on, but if you're into that, you could see that on Untranslatable Podcast. We're on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. And then, you know, of course, as always, you know,
spread a little
most
love.
Importantly would be to spread the love and give us those 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Oh, we're on YouTube as well if you're interested in that sort of thing. You know, I have my glasses on. I got to take those off. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you know, there you go. Seriously though, dude, I don't know if this amount of shootings, you know, I've actually been thinking about this. I wonder because when, you know, sometimes I'll see a stat on Twitter and it'll say like, this year there have been, it's 3 months into the year and there have been 112, you know, mass shootings or something.
Are you
like
serious?
That. No, I just made that up, but I've seen stats like that before. Okay. And I sometimes I wonder. I was like, really? That like I know they're obviously happened, but that's a lot. But then like I feel like recently. It's just been every day. It's been just about every day on Twitter. There's some sort of trending article about some group of people getting shot. Like I see it, and I've been wondering. I wonder if it always happens as much as I'm seeing it, but social media specifically is ramping up, putting it into the trending category because really, you know, like there are so many like. The trending section, it's not really just like 5 or 6 things trending in the world. It's like Twitter's like, all right, what is this person interested in, and what are popular news stories happening like in this person's general area about stuff that they're interested in. That's what's trending, not you know, unless it's something huge like Michael Jackson dying or something. I feel like that's generally how the trending thing happens, and so I just wonder if something about the culture of America's, I don't know, something about something is pushing the social media people to be like, or the AI, the bots to be like, let's
algorithm.
The algorithm's like let's show people really how many shootings are happening in this world, because I wondered, I don't even know if it's that more are happening. Or that I just see about them, read about them a lot more.
Well, I can't statistically say, you know, but I would imagine we certainly see it a lot. It's a lot more prevalent in the news in general. But at the same time, I don't know if it was this common in the past. It's kind of crazy though, Jared. Speaking of all that crazy stuff, I started watching a new series on Netflix. And it's called Terrorism Close Calls. And they have a couple episodes.
Why would you watch such a thing?
It's crazy, dude. They have a couple episodes that focus on Germany, a couple on France, U.S.
Like modern day, or how far back do they go?
2010, I think, is when it
okay,
stopped.
That's modern day.
I'm sure it's still going on.
Of course.
It's just crazy though. Like the NSA basically are the ones that have kind of even in Germany, like there were numerous scenes in the episode with Germany where they were like, yeah, and we have to thank all the support from our allies in the United States with the NSA for because they were the ones that passed along all this information. And it's just crazy. Like, it's like 3 or 4 dudes.
Like, thanks. Wait, how'd you get that information?
Right. Well, and then there are scenes in the series where they're like bugging the apartment. Like you see them at night, like drilling small holes in the walls and like.
Do they still do that? I thought it was all just through cell phones and stuff. I didn't know they were going old school, where they're tapping.
Maybe in 2000 or after 2010, maybe they stopped that. But
I feel like everyone had cell phones in 2010 as well.
Well, of course they did. But with the cell phones, can you get? I don't know if you have like a burner flip phone or something. Can you?
I see.
Because not everyone has a smartphone. Not everyone.
Yeah, I don't know if you need a smartphone per se, though. But you make a good point, though. I would say,
like, I don't know how much they can listen in on.
Right. It's like, yeah, this person's got a new phone every day. We're not going to get full conversations like we're going to get in their house. Right.
Exactly.
We're here to save the world. This is all in the interest of the world. That's how.
And it's crazy though, because what they talk about in this series as well, Jared, is that the German police have actually more power than the German security. So the German, it's funny because
what do you mean German security?
Like the German
security?
NSA, like cybersecurity, counterterrorism. Those like security.
When I hear
branches.
security, I think like a mall security.
No, we're not talking about pub lard here, Jared. No.
You mean the federal agencies?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And what was so crazy about it though is they said that the police and the feds have a completely different approach to it. So the police, they want to arrest them as quickly as possible. Just
that
because
doesn't sound like the police at all.
Right. Tune into Propaganda if you're not sure. One of our last episodes. But anyways, the other thing is that the security agencies, though, they want to learn what's going on. So they want to wait it out until it gets to the point when they need to arrest them.
Well, that's what they say. If you're getting arrested by federal agencies, you're almost definitely guilty. Like they've collected, by the time federal groups, whether it be the FBI or the NSA or whatever, are arresting you, they already have, they're like sure of what they're arresting you for at that point.
I'm sure they have warrants and all sorts of stuff, probably.
And cops on like our police officers on the street are the kings of just making up reasons to arrest people and just probable cause this and stop resisting that, and it's not really, and there's no real evidence a lot of times. It's more just like a hunch, it feels like,
Right.
So yeah, I'd believe that that's how it would work in other countries too.
What's interesting about this series though is a lot of the guys who were planning these attacks were actually born in these countries, and then they went over to the Middle East or they all went over to the Middle East and then they came back.
Whatever happened, by the way, to that QAnon documentary? You were all hot about it one episode in, and then it never came up again. Did you not? You lost interest?
Well, actually, no, dude. So the reason why I haven't given you any HBO Max is I can't log into it.
Oh, what happened? You already logged into it.
So I have it on my PlayStation. And I had it. All the stuff set up, the account was all set up, and it just won't let me log in now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, and I have to get the info. I have to basically call, or I don't know who I need to call, but I need to figure out who to contact to actually figure out the account information. So
having to call a cable company would be like, you know what? I don't need HBO anymore. I'll just pay for it forever and not figure it out.
Well, it was like
I'd rather that than call.
It was one of those free things that came with when we upgraded the hotspot. It was like a free thing.
I see.
So it's yeah. Anyways, do we want to talk about though? Speaking of speaking of nothing, do we want to talk about completely changing the topic here? Some questions I've gotten from my students.
I was actually going to ask you if maybe this is too fresh for your G-rated expectations of the classroom. But I wondered if any of your students asked you about guns.
Actually, I have had a couple of questions about guns. I had a student ask me what is the process.
Coolest gun? Oh.
No, not what was the
What's
coolest
the process?
Gun. Yeah,
that's
like
hilarious.
buying a gun.
Like, what do you mean process? You go store and get it, and
Right. Right.
Or you even go. You don't even have to register it if you go to
Just go
one
on
of those,
Craigslist.
yeah, or what's the like a gun
Just a
show?
gun show?
Yeah, no background check to show up, buy it, and leave. That's the process.
Do they really not have any background checks there?
Yeah, there's a rule that you don't have to get a background check if you buy a gun at a gun show.
That's so wild.
And so, theoretically, you have to get it registered yourself. But, I mean, who's checking you?
Right. Yeah, I just told that student.
Just saying.
I told that student I'd never bought a gun, so I wasn't completely sure. That was kind of my little cop-out for that one.
Yeah, but it's easy.
Right. Right.
Even if you don't know the exact process.
Well, I did tell him
generally
that you need
know
to,
that it's easy and what the process is.
Well, I told him that you need to bring a driver's license and probably sign a couple documents because I think you have to. There's some minuscule background check. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, especially if you in the store. I think there is, and I know in certain states. Like in California, I've heard that there is a couple day waiting period, but obviously that's where all the libtards are. So what do they know? But yeah, it varies obviously by state to state. But that's a question that you'd consider too fresh for your class, and you just say you need a license, and I've never bought one, so I don't know. Next question.
Well, I guess.
What's your favorite TV show? Barney. Next question.
Right.
What's your favorite beverage? Water. Next question.
What's your favorite food? Bread. Next question.
Stop asking me these difficult questions.
I don't know. I think the tricky thing about guns, Jared,
you
is
guys are adults.
if you talk about guns to at least to Americans, it can become a political conversation really quickly, right?
But they asked how do you get them? They didn't ask for your opinion on the process of getting them or anything. They just asked how you get them,
Right, but you don't think I get additional questions after that from other students?
Next question.
One of my favorite ones though last week, Jared, this was kind of just a funny one and it took me by surprise. Was we were going over modal verbs in class.
No idea what that is.
Do you know what those are? Those are
would've, should've.
There we go. Could've.
Oh, is that really true?
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually thought those were passive.
No. Well, no. Passive is something completely different.
Okay.
But
I guessed and I got it. There we go.
Yeah. Modal verbs are it's like a helping verb.
Well, okay.
Like so.
Like the have is the helping verb.
Yeah. See, you got it.
I see.
You got it.
See, these are terms I don't know, but in theory, I understand what you're saying. I guess
since you've learned German, you know modal verbs as well.
Yeah, but I still wasn't great with the terminology when I was learning.
That's fair.
German
and to be honest, the terminology isn't what's important. What's important is can you use this stuff properly. So my students, what I've been doing lately for my Ask Me Anything is I've slightly modified it where I have the students ask me questions, but they need to use certain vocabulary words or verbs. So since we were talking about modal verbs, I thought, okay, they have to give me modal verbs this week in the question. So one of my students asked me, how many cheeseburgers or hamburgers can you eat? And I just thought that question was hilarious.
But that doesn't use a modal verb.
Can.
Oh, I thought it had to be like
could.
I
could
thought
is
it was
the past tense of can.
Okay, I gotcha. See, I don't understand it. Told you. How many can you eat? That's a good question.
I have no idea. Like I was thinking about it, like if you had to enter, like say you had to like enter a competition and be like, all right.
Well, we just talked about food challenges the other day too.
That is true. That is true. Just imagine though, Jared. Like, what if someone told you?
I would say 2 is my answer.
Okay, 2.
I would never do that. Because I rather offset that extra hunger with French fries.
Oh, for sure.
But I could probably eat 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess without...
You think too deeply about these questions. Of course it does. Of course it does. But I would just say 2. That's what I would say.
2? All right. All right, that's fair. I'd say if they're small burgers, I'd say 4.
Is there any... Have you ever answered a question without saying, well, it depends? Have
Probably
you ever
not.
just answered the question?
2. Dos. Are.
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe.
Well, if there's 3 pickles on there,
Yeah,
or if
yeah.
there's
What
4
size?
pickles,
Of course, obviously there are size variances and stuff like that.
is there ketchup and mustard?
Exactly. What kind of cheese is it? Because I do have a slight intolerance to a Swiss, but an American is
Give
not
me
as
some
bad for my
Gouda.
gastrointestinal system.
Right. I had another student ask me to explain, could you explain the difference in how steaks are cooked? So,
Interesting. That is a. I'm not specifically American, but that is definitely not a worldwide thing. Like in Europe, a lot of places, it's more like
it's well
you
done,
don't-
isn't it?
No, it's more. No, really? You think? No, in Europe, I think it's more. Or a lot of places, it's usually rarer. But also,
Oh,
a
it
lot
is?
of
Okay.
restaurants I've been to in a lot of European countries, it's like you don't tell us how to prepare it. We, like we did it, like we know how to do it. It's not. This
Right.
is not like a by request thing. This is what you ordered, and this is what you get. I remember I went to Belgium one time, and I ordered some sort of beef steak related thing, and I asked for maybe medium or something like that. Maybe medium well, because I know how the
medium
Europeans
rare,
do.
and you would like it, sir.
Dude, this thing looked straight up rare. Like rare,
walking?
like it looked like they just went like, oh yeah, all right, go ahead and shoot it and just sear it real quick on the outside, so it's
Just
got some
flip it
color,
once, and
so it's
then
got
we're
some
good to go.
darkness to it. And so I asked, I was like, could you cook it a little longer? And they said, oui, yes, oui. And they went away and they came back and it looked exactly the same.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, okay, this is what I deserved.
Put it in the microwave for 2 seconds.
Yes, we will warm it
back.
without a piece, you asshole. What were we talking about? What
Questions
the hell?
my students were asking me this past week.
Right. So how did you explain it?
Well, I just said, well, I also taught them the slang to
Wait,
to get
you
it
didn't-
walking,
Oh, okay.
get it really rare. That was fun. I always like to, teach them random like phrases and stuff like that. Well, we do
I
do
wanna
a
ride off the
podcast where we
bus.
talk. We talk about these things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I just explained to them that if you get it rare, it tends to be more pink or red.
They don't eat a lot
maybe
of
little
beef like
juicier.
that, and
Well, you can get beef in all sorts of ways in China, but they were curious kind of how like what you would, and they did ask me what would you recommend at a restaurant, like if you went to a
So-
steak place.
when you get beef in China, or when you have gotten beef in China, is it usually? It's not like a piece of meat like a steak. It's like cut up into some sort of dish.
Usually, yeah.
So if it's cut up into some sort of dish, it's usually cooked pretty well done.
Yeah, or if you get a piece of steak, at least a lot of the, like if you go to a Korean barbecue place, it'll be like more like strips of steak.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it's different than we get like a slab of meat for like a steak in America.
Yeah,
that's how we do
roll.
it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
If it's not if it's under 10 ounces, it's not a steak.
tell you what though,
That's veal.
that can certainly be a scam if you're in China, bro. Some places that advertise themselves as steak houses, they'll charge an arm and a leg, and you get this skinny little fillet, and in the pictures it looks like an American steak. You got to be careful.
And you have the Salt Bay sprinkling
right.
salt on it. Salt Bay it's really surprising me that he still is popping up on my social media all the time. Did you what other any other questions of interest?
We can leave it at that. We can shift gears.
I don't know if you have any shout outs. I don't have any shout outs. The world's
No
been
shout-outs
terrible
today.
recently.
Yep.
Nothing good in this world ever happens. No good things. All bad.
Except for the Untranslatable podcast.
Exactly. And the Untranslatables.
That's true. Which are idioms, proverbs, sayings, axioms that don't always translate into English on a one-to-one basis, and we are here to decipher those for you. So you want to go ahead and get us started today, Jared?
Sure, dude. I have a Danish one, and it's at sluga en gammel.
Something about a camel?
To swallow a camel.
Is that to be sick?
No.
Feeling hoarse?
Oh, okay. I don't understand how the joke.
One's a camel, the other's a horse. They're both rideable animals. I don't know.
That's a great
explain
joke.
the
I'm
joke.
sorry.
They're not funny.
No, that's hilarious, Chad. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm the idiot, and I didn't get the brilliance behind that joke.
No, you're good. You're good.
To swallow a camel.
Sorry, the rents just left. Mom's getting her second COVID vaccine.
Nice.
So, of course, the dog came up to join the party. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
I just said to swallow a camel.
To swallow a camel. And it doesn't mean to be sick.
No.
Does it mean to say something very offensive?
No, but I'll say swallowing a camel is... sounds like you need to get that second vaccine too. Shit. Swallowing a camel is very difficult to do, I would imagine. I'd imagine it's not something you necessarily want to do.
Swallowing a camel.
It means to accept something that contradicts your ideals or values or beliefs.
Oh,
it's like I got to
interesting.
swallow the camel and finally, accept that racism is bad.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. Well, the first one I have for you today, Jared, is Mandarin. And it is, we'll see if I say this right.
You won't.
Thank you. 吃醋 means to eat vinegar.
I love how you said, let's see if I say this right. Like, now, how do we know if you said it right?
Only the listeners who speak Mandarin will know. So we'll find out.
To what? To eat soup,
To
did you say?
eat vinegar.
To eat vinegar? Is that to swallow your pride? Is that to be embarrassed?
No, keep going. Just keep rattling these off. You
Is
might
that
get it.
to like put your foot in your mouth? Is that to like hurt someone's feelings? Is that
you're getting close?
To insult someone or to be insulted?
Okay, let me help you. Let me try to help you here, because you're
like to buzz off. Okay, go eat vinegar.
Okay, so vinegar. How is vinegar, Jared?
It's sour.
Okay, good. Okay, now think about people and how they
someone
relate
that, like,
to
turns
others.
you off. This person
How would you describe someone who's sour? Why might they be sour?
standoffish. They're
Why might they be standoffish?
because they're loud. They're a bad energy, a bad vibe. This good vibes only, and this person's
or
eating
laid back
vinegar.
vibes.
Oh right, jeez, I always
Laid
mess
back
up. I always
vibes,
mess it up.
or good vibes only.
Also, there's no laid back vibes. Nothing laid back vibes
No.
about your background too in the big city there.
That's true.
Bustling vibes.
That's true. I should have had some like a Bluetooth speaker with like some honks and.
Oh, I thought you meant a Bluetooth. Sorry, when you said Bluetooth speaker, I thought you meant like one of those Bluetooth earpieces.
Oh, that'd be hilarious
to show
too.
that you're like a high class and fast moving businessman.
Right, I forgot my suit today, obviously. But yeah,
one of those old school shark tooths.
That's
Anyway,
right. To eat vinegar, so it's sour. Why might someone be sour at another person?
because they rub them the wrong way. They lied to them.
Okay. And what do we call it when someone is sour towards another person?
Being sour towards another person.
Okay.
It's when you have like a vendetta against someone. What's the term I'm looking for?
Starts with a J.
I don't know. Just tell me.
Jealousy.
Oh, okay.
If you're being jealous, you're eating vinegar.
Oh, stop eating vinegar just because that person got a Ferrari and you still drive a Pinto.
That's right. Hey, don't be hating on the Pintos though.
Do you remember that Chris Rock joke where he was, I don't agree but I understand or whatever? Do you remember that joke? Have you heard that joke? Oh, okay. I don't need to explain it though, but he says Pinto really funny. I don't care if it's a Pinto. Anyway, I have a Vietnamese untranslatable for you, and it's they have like the sort of phonetic alphabet on top of some of these letters, and my ability to decipher what is it when there's a hat on top of an A. Is that a long A? Would you say?
Go for it.
No.
I'd say long A.
No, because a straight line would be a long A. You would have agreed with me no matter what I said. That was a test and you failed. Chan nam da chan zu. Right leg kicking the left leg. That guy's right leg is kicking his left leg.
Give me a clue.
Maybe if you see, maybe if it's midnight and you're walking down that street there, behind you, and what I imagine is New York, you might see a lot of people with their right leg kicking their left leg, trying to get home.
Trying to get home from where?
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me, Chad. I don't know if I tell you from
bar?
where it's gonna. Maybe. Yes, it's the bar that they're coming home from. So why would they be
wasted?
Yeah, their right leg is kicking their left leg. They can't even walk straight.
Okay, that could be a predicament. That is for sure.
Could be.
Well, here, let me give you a Portuguese untranslatable. This one is para inglés ver.
To speak English something?
No, so the English...
para is for English or something? I don't
basically, so the English can see it.
It's like you're doing something for someone else's entertainment and not for yourself.
Well,
don't do this for the English entertainment. Do this for yourself.
Why would someone do that? What would we call a person who does that?
An attention hua.
I was looking for show off, but I'll take attention hua. I'll take it.
What are you, an attention hua? Okay, cool. Actually, I would say being an attention hua might be a sign while you're traveling that it's like, be careful with this person, because maybe they're attracting attention because there's another person around the corner that's about to pickpocket you because you're distracted by this attention hua. Like for example, a popular, the most common go-to popular travel scam off the top of your head, pickpocketing, right?
Oh, for sure, pickpocketing.
And I'd say one of the go-to scams for pickpocketing is some sort of street performance. So what they do is they have, the street performer is in on the scam, and then there's someone that goes around to the audience pickpocketing people while they're enamored by the street performance. Have you heard of that one before?
I have. You know what other pickpocketing one I've been hearing about, and I'm going to knock on some wood that hasn't happened to me, is the spill some ice cream or some ketchup or some other junk on you, and while they're helping you wipe it off, clean it up, somebody else comes up as well, and they, distract or do whatever, and then you get pickpocketed.
Do you know anyone that's been pickpocketed? I'm sure you haven't been.
Actually, I know a couple people. I know 3 people who were pickpocketed. One in the Czech Republic, one in Vienna, and one in Barcelona.
Were they like a class? What was the scenario? It wasn't like a bump into the shoulder, and then because that's the Ocean's 11 version.
So one of them, the one in Vienna, is probably the craziest one. So this girl came to visit my roommate. This was the second semester after Jared, unfortunately, had gone back to school in the States.
I couldn't afford to get pickpocketed.
That's right. And this girl came to visit. She was taking the bus from near our apartment to downtown. And apparently there was this young boy behind her, probably 8 to 10 years old or so, and he said something to her. I think she got her phone out of her purse to look at something, and then when she had turned around to go in the bus, she had forgotten to shut and zip her purse, and he just grabbed her wallet in there and literally grabbed it as she was walking into the bus. Literally kind of like a movie. The door's shut, and he was outside with her wallet, and there goes the bus. So that was one.
Damn, that's a good. That's a classic one right there.
Yep. Actually, I know of someone too that got pickpocketed in Paris too, in the subway.
Okay, was it also something like that?
Wallet in the back pocket. Just first time tourist. Yep.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The idea of getting pickpocketed by someone taking a wallet out of my pocket, in my head, I'm like, that's not gonna happen to me. And maybe I'm the someone as confident as me as the perfect candidate for it to happen to, but I just cannot imagine that would happen to me. I'm sure you. What do you duct tape your wallet to your inner thigh? Is that what you do?
Oh yeah, of course.
And then you duct tape
it
cash
twice
all over you like you're smuggling it into a different country.
Exactly.
That is a tip actually that I've heard.
Put my cash in my socks.
You don't leave your cash in your wallet. Put it in a pocket. Keep cash separate from your wallet.
I'm old school. I got a money clip when I travel.
Okay. And then you put it in your front pocket.
Reason. Yep.
And then what I do is I'll usually, if I'm in a crowded urban city, I'll usually put my wallet. Oh, you know what I tend to do actually? I'm giving away my secret. Now the pickpocketers listening to this are going to find me on my next adventure and hunt me down.
All right,
yeah,
Jared, let's
fucking idiots.
Let's hear it.
This is how we get them. What I'll do sometimes, depending, like if I'm in a club or something, I'll certainly put it in my
Jared
front
is
pocket.
always in the club.
But I tend to be like a khaki style pant wearer. So the front pocket is not necessarily safer because it's not like a jean
not
pocket
for those
where
fat stacks that Jared's
the
got.
jean pocket is on the top where you like stick your hand into it and they're kind of tight to the. But the khaki pocket, you kind of like slide. It's like you know what I'm talking about.
It's a little different.
The opening's a little different. But the good thing about a lot of those khaki style pants is that the back pocket, usually of a number of my pants, has a button over it. So sometimes I will stick to the back pocket, even though I might be in a country known for its aggressive and skilled pickpocketers. But I feel comfortable with the button closing the back pocket. Because even if you tried, you couldn't pull the pocket out or the wallet out without undoing the button. And if you're skilled enough to undo my button and steal my wallet, hats off to you, sir or ma'am. You've earned that wallet. And also I have no cash. So you've only inconvenienced me and stolen some useless old wallet.
I will also say, though, too, Jared, when I travel, I also keep a minimum of, like, cards I have. Like, I usually only bring 1 or 2 cards with me when I travel, just in case, if I were to be pickpocketed or what have you. The one thing that I always wonder is, like, how people don't get their stuff stolen at the beach all the time. Because, like, if you both
maybe
are,
they
like...
do.
Or maybe they do. I'm not sure.
I think it depends on the beach too, because I bet you it happens a lot in like spring break time. I bet you there's a lot of beach theft. But I at least when I'm on the beach, it's rare that I'm leaving my stuff on the beach and me and everybody I'm with is going in the water at the same time and leaving just our stuff unattended. I can't see that happening. But
unless you've had one too many and you take a little nap.
I'm hammered right now. I've always had one too many. I've always one too many. I had one too many 3 hours ago. I'm working on this new persona that I'm an alcoholic,
There we go.
Maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of BoJack Horseman recently.
Oh, shit, really? Nice.
Yeah. I started it like when it first came out, but I just, like I do with a lot of TV shows, I kind of just stopped watching it. But I just hear so much talk about it. I'm like, I did know it was a good show. I need to get back into it.
I might have to rewatch it.
So I've been watching it.
It's an interesting series.
So what are some so pickpocketing? Have we covered all there is about pickpocketing? What have we missed? What are some
the biggest thing with pickpocketing is I know this may sound stupid, but try just not to draw a lot of attention to yourself.
That's hilarious. That's
how
would you try to
for example, if you're walking around, Jared, rocking a Louis Vuitton bag and a crusty diamond chain.
You have like one of those Gucci fanny packs.
Yep, you got a diamond encrusted Rolex.
They're like, oh, this person doesn't need this. Yeah, taking this stuff from them wouldn't make any difference to them. That's how you start thinking as the thief.
The other thing too
this
is
person's
obviously
asking for it.
Don't have your wallet or purse or whatever in a spot that is, just easy for somebody to get to. Because if it's in like your back jeans pocket, if you're in a crowded subway, that thing could be gone so quick and you might not even know. Or by the time you know, it's too late.
I'd say the subway is probably a hot zone where you got to be extra on your guard because
I really like.
there's a lot of movement, a lot of commotion, a lot of easy in and outs.
Yep. Well, what I really like, Jared, is the stuff in your front pocket, hands in your pockets when you're riding, if you can. Especially if you're sitting down.
Sure.
Then they really can't take anything.
They can't
from
get you.
That's
You're
right.
safe now. Or at least you think. Who knows? They found a way.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, they cut off my pocket with scissors, and I didn't even notice. What are some other scams you could think of?
Well, Jared, I think taxis are obviously a huge one. And the thing with taxis is a lot of times you can get scammed for a couple different reasons. Number one, I think a lot of cab drivers just think you're a tourist, you have extra money, you're not going to put up a fuss, you're on vacation, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing is, too, is I think some people, if they are new travelers and they're a bit naive when it comes to how to interact with a taxi driver, I always recommend, if you can, designate the price of it before you even start the ride. Because in most countries, that will save you from being scammed.
Yeah, that's a good way to go. It's interesting. That's sort of I agree with you, but I think also a scam. There's so many ways that they can scam you. The scam could be that they tell you the price up front, and I've been in a few situations where they tell you the price up front, and it's like, but this taxi has a meter in it. Mm-hmm. Why don't we just do it the old-fashioned way? Why are you telling me the price?
Well, that's the other thing you can ask in a lot of places.
When there's a meter.
Well, when I was in Bali, Jared, that's what they told us to do. They said, if the cab driver has a meter and it's a legit cab driver, have them use the meter.
Yeah, I've been in situations like that. But then I guess you could solve that by getting the price up front, but that would most likely involve some sort of negotiation because it's probably safe to assume that whatever flat fee they're telling you is probably higher than what the meter would say. So
right.
So certainly don't just take whatever they tell you the flat fee is going to be. But then you're right. Another scam would be not agreeing to a price. They don't use the meter. They not even talking about price, just saying, "Hey, can you take me here?" They don't use the meter, and then they tell you a ridiculous number. That's never happened to me because I probably wouldn't let that happen. But I've certainly been in a situation where I'm like, I don't know about that number when you first get to a taxi, and usually that's probably before I actually get into it. You have this conversation before you actually put your stuff in the trunk and sit down inside.
It's really funny, though, Jared, because in China, there's a spot in Beijing called Sanlitun, and that's where a lot of the nightlife is. And at night, it's really hard to get a cab there. Mm-hmm. So what a lot of people end up doing is they'll take their own cars and put a taxi sticker on it. I shit you not. And then they'll offer people rides. And because these aren't legit cab drivers, you have to haggle and negotiate with them because they don't have a meter either. And I've heard stories of drunk foreigners paying crazy amounts of money because they really want to get to the next bar quickly or back to their place or whatever.
Now you're going to get into a fight about prices with someone, while you're 3 sheets to the wind in a foreign country, and now you're like, oh, what? I'm not paying that much. And it's like, yeah, that's there's almost no chance of you coming out in a good place in that situation.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think the worst part about travel scams is some of these can put you in a position where, I would never encourage any type of physical altercation while abroad or at home. Because then you got to get involved
bold
with
statement, Chad.
I know, very bold. But that's the thing. I've definitely seen some videos online of people getting fights over ridiculous things.
A scam I've seen you get got by. This is a classic one that you see.
Yeah. I know exactly what one, but go ahead.
You see this in a lot of countries, and this is the person coming up to you, then just handing you something.
Yep.
And then they ask you to sometimes write your name down on some sort of clipboard or something. But at the end of the day, they're handing you something, and then they expect you to give them money for it. And Chad, Mr. Nice Guy, we saw you get we
Yep,
experienced you
in Berlin
getting got by that when we were at the Berlin Wall and we were just walking along it. Obviously, a hot tourist area, a popular place to be on your guard for any sort of tourist
shenanigans.
scam. And these women came up to both of us because we look like the Americans that we are, and
What?
and they were they handing us something or did they have? I remember they had the
They had a
clipboards that they wanted
petition.
us to.
They had a clipboard with a petition.
And I mean, I sort of gave it. I sort of messed up too, and I signed the petition thingy, not even thinking about it. Or did I? I think I did. But it was a lot easier for me to shake my person regarding the payment that apparently is required if you write your name down. Or maybe I just did like a squiggly line on it or something.
Nice.
But then, I think I was just able, it was a lot easier for me to shake my person regarding the money. And you ended up giving him some money, didn't you?
€2, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, Chad, don't try to play it off like it's not that much money. It's no big deal.
I shouldn't have given him anything.
It's not
You're
about
right.
how much
It's a
money.
scam.
Obviously, the €2 at the end of the day is no big deal to you. More, it's the fact that you got. That's
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what? Another travel scam that thankfully I've never got by and never experienced, but I've heard about is the quote unquote friendship bracelet.
I think I've experienced something like that because no, I've experienced the I don't remember where it was, but it's like I don't know the proper term, but like the monk giving you some sort of like trinket or something like that. Maybe we probably were together for that one too. Let's be honest. But I have or maybe that was in San Francisco. But anyway, I have experienced that. And then you're just kind of in a weird situation where I'm like, shoot, I should not have taken that. So now like I'm trying to give it back, but they don't want it. They just want money,
Yeah, they're not going to take it back.
And I don't remember what happened on there, but I've certainly been in ones
trinkets are no good here, sir. But you just gave me the... Nope, no good here, sir.
Yeah, no, but you do owe me money for that trinket. Let's be clear.
Right. Another one that's kind of similar to that, though, Jared, is I've heard of scams where... Like if you're out taking pictures with someone, especially they'll target couples.
Yes.
Right? And if you're taking a picture of your gal and your gal's taking a picture of you, whatever, they might say, "Oh, I'll take the picture of both of
you."
Back
up a little bit.
Yep.
Keep
and
going.
Then either they take your phone or your camera, or they'll try to, oh, well, you need to pay me.
Oh, yeah, to take the picture. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've definitely heard of the one where it's like, yeah, I'll take the picture of you. All right, back up, keep going, and then they just sprint away.
Right.
Which doesn't seem like you really have to bank on being faster than those people and someone else not intervening.
That seems like a bold. The people you're going to scam a little bit.
Exactly. You got to know. It's like, all right, these are the perfect Americans to run away from.
All right. Have you heard of this one? Apparently, this one happens in Paris quite a bit. They call it the found ring, where you're walking. And then someone points out like a nice gold ring on the ground.
And I have not heard of this one.
Okay, here's this is according to the HuffPost travel scams. So someone will drop a ring right in front of you and ask you if you dropped it. When you say no, she will inspect the ring and prove to you that it's real gold. It isn't. She'll then offer to sell it to you for a much, much higher price than it's worth. I'm sorry, but if you got by something like that...
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
You desered every penny you lose. I'm sorry.
Have you ever... yeah, that's pretty dumb. Have you ever been convinced to believe that an attractive woman finds you to be a very attractive man that she finds interesting when really...
All the time. Wait, there's a catch here. No, I'm just kidding.
When really there is an ulterior financial motive.
Maybe.
I've certainly been in situations where like a woman starts flirting with me and I'm like, oh, hello, and I'm like, wait a second, you are way too attractive to find me attractive.
What do you want? What do you want? What is
I was
it?
like, there's no way that now is the time that just a straight up like dime piece is just walking up to me like so obsessed with me that she can't even that
like
she can't
touching
help
your
herself.
arm.
Yeah, I was like, something seems up here because this has never happened in normal life before.
You gotta be careful.
And then usually, I've heard of. Well, listen, I'm not going to incriminate anyone, but I've certainly heard of people being dragged into a what seems like a friendly strip establishment, but turns out that it might be more than just establishment for stripping.
Yeah, they have lots of scams like
by
that.
the false premise of a casual, easygoing good time.
You know, it's a crazy one that happens in China. It's the tea scam. What they'll do is a lot of times at some of the main tourist attractions in Beijing, if you're like a couple young men or a young man chilling there, sometimes one or two very attractive Chinese women will come up to you and they'll speak decent English and they'll say, "Oh, hey, we're also tourists. We're coming in from this town for a couple days. How about we all go get tea together?" Well, the thing is, Jared, is they're in cahoots with the whoever the tea person is, and they have these menus that basically what happens is people will go in there, right? But these tourists will go in there and they'll get scammed out of like a couple $100.
How so? What's the scam though?
So the scam is that they charge you for the tea by the ounce.
So it really is a tea-based scam. I thought that at the end of it there was some sort of sexual,
not that I know of,
component. So okay, so you said they go after men specifically for some reason,
right?
Oh, because they're attractive women. That's how they get you into the store.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
I see. That's a weird one. Have you seen that one?
I mean, not while I was. Well, actually, when I was in Beijing, I did see a couple girls go up
tea
to
shops.
To this other white dude that was chilling on Tiananmen Square. And they were talking to him, and I kind of looked, and I was like, "Oh, is this what's going to happen here?"
Yeah, I mean, you're a prime candidate for a scam.
I always have a mean mug though when I'm out. If I'm out flying solo, you never know.
No, you don't. Are you serious? Is that how? Are you serious?
No, no, I'm just teasing.
Maybe because I know you, but I'm like, I don't buy that. But obviously,
When I was wearing that black face mask, though, with the pair of shades looks a little intimidating.
Yeah,
maybe.
now you look like a federal agent
That's
protecting the president. A common scam that we have been warned about on multiple times is the drug dealer. Is just the drug dealer coming up to you on the street. We saw a lot of it in Berlin.
Right. Amsterdam, all over the place.
You see a lot. Oh, dude, remember that guy that asked us if we wanted, what was it, psychedelics in Amsterdam that one time?
Yep.
That dude was the shadiest looking guy I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, that's kind of what you picture in your mind when someone's like a street drug
really
dealer.
Was. It was almost
like ratty, scraggly hair.
It kind of looked like he might have had what could have been a quote unquote cold sore on his face. But I was
he was
like,
looking rough, dude.
This is like what the in the Dare commercials. This is who they tell you is coming to sell you drugs.
Yep.
And we're like, oh no, I don't want anything that's coming out of any of your jacket pockets.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I mean, I think any country if you're into that kind of thing. I mean, I would not. Just don't.
If you're going to do that, you have to know someone. You can't. You should never be getting drugs from a random country off the street. Because especially
you never know what the hell it is.
Drug deals in general kind of have to be done. Covertly. So you're sort of already putting yourself in a dangerous situation by having to go in a relatively secret place with a strange drug dealer.
Yeah. Just don't do it. Just do whatever the hell is legal in
we also
that country.
We were in what was it, Czech Republic? I think we got accosted, or maybe it was I think it might have been. Maybe it was Berlin. No, I think it might have been like in the center of Prague. Some random guy accosted us for drugs there too. That's
Yep,
another place
that
I
was
feel
Prague.
like they made a point to say that they do that a lot.
Which is funny.
Didn't you mention that
because
to me?
I did. Yeah, it's because it's one spot in Prague, and it's so funny because it's like right in the middle of Old Town.
Yeah, you can't move in that area without bumping into someone.
Right. Right. And then there's just so many people there asking.
I was like, I don't even understand how this would work.
Well, the reason why though too, Jared, is so many people come to Prague, especially a lot of Brits come to Prague as like a stag party or a bachelor party. So they're in town to have a good time, and so a lot of these guys, I think, try to, profit off of that. So, but here's one though, Jared. This scam. When I read about this, I'm not gonna lie to you, it creeped me out a little bit and gave me the heebie-jeebies, as it were. This is called the dropped wallet scam. So either someone had already dropped a wallet somewhere and you come across it, people are watching, or someone is walking in front of you and they drop your wallet. What will happen is you'll pick up the wallet, then people will come up to you and they'll say, "Oh, that's my wallet. Can I have it back?" And you give it back to them. And then they say that they had, I don't know, $50 in their wallet, but there's only $10 in there. So
we got a problem.
We got a problem, sir.
Where's my money? Where's my money?
So then what will happen is they'll get in an argument, and then some police will show up that might be friends dressed like a police officer.
Jesus,
and,
this is elaborate.
Yep. This happens, I guess, in Ukraine and also in Rome. So they'll come up to you.
Rome and Paris, you can expect every sort of travel scam to happen to you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's just so many tourists. Too. Right.
And like these super tourist hubs.
Yeah, but the dropped wallet one's a crazy one. So what they recommend is if you see a dropped wallet, as terrible as this is, just keep on moving. Mind your own business.
I mean, listen, this is why I don't help anyone. I'll see a person bleeding out on the street. I keep moving. You're not going to get me.
Right. The other one, Jared. I always chuckle when I see these dudes. Are the like the flower guys, the guys that walk around with either singular roses or bouquets or whatever.
What pisses me off too? Some restaurant places or restaurants let them walk in their restaurant too.
Yep.
And they come up to you in a restaurant.
And Jared never buys me any roses.
Yeah. Chad just looks over at me. And I'm just like, get out of here. Keep it moving. I buy my roses from conglomerates.
From a real florist.
To people's houses, so I don't have to interact with them. I
do remember those,
people,
though,
those scams work, though. I've seen people buy flowers from these people all the time.
For sure. And the markup on those bad boys, they got to be making.
And I was like,
is
this romantic? Because I feel like if I were the person receiving the flower from this person, I'd be like, you're an idiot.
You know what's even less romantic than that, Jared? When you're having a nice romantic dinner outside, let me paint the picture for you and the listener. So you're having a nice dinner. It's a nice summer evening. It's about 70 degrees. That's about
perfect.
10 to 12 degrees Celsius for our non-imperial fans out there, and you're enjoying this nice dinner, and then this 6-7-year-old boy comes up to you in tattered clothes, has a very sad look on his face, holds his hands out, says, "Can I have some money for whatever, for some food, for whatever?" And you're sitting there, and we had one of our teachers in Austria taught us that a lot of these kids are actually associated with either the mafia or what have you. So when you give them money, you're not actually giving them money towards food or whatever they're telling you. You're giving them money.
It goes to the Don.
Right. So I knew this. So I told the kid to scram, get lost, get out of here, and talk about a mood killer on a date. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you have to tell a child to scram.
This is a great one. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm not giving your mob bosses any money.
Right.
By the way, just so you know, 12 degrees Celsius is 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, I'm not even close.
It's probably more like 20 is what you probably want to say.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, another scam, quote unquote, which is sometimes a scam. I don't even know if it's a scam or not, but this is actually one that I've experienced in the United States, in Philly and in New York as well, I think, is the kid selling candy or like chocolates or something like that. Every now and again, you'll even see the parents like off to the side. It's even sadder when you don't see the parent. I can't tell if it's sadder when you see the parent or when you don't see the parent, but they're both sad. I actually saw that once in Birmingham, which is a rich city here in Michigan. I was at this pizza place sitting outside, and there was a kid selling candy, and I legitimately didn't have any cash, and I felt bad. For some reason, I felt more bad saying no in my home area than I would traveling, maybe because I feel less like I feel more comfortable in the environment, and I feel I feel like I'm less likely to get fooled or scammed in my own home for some reason, which is a perfect scam already. Right. Clearly I'm a perfect mark because that's what I believe. But I didn't have any cash, and I legitimately felt bad, but it did sort of feel like a scam. A little bit. Speaking
of a kind of a creepy scam I read about, apparently if you are in India, what has happened to some people is they put this software on your laptop or computer. So if you take your computer to get fixed at a shop that might be a little sketchy, what they can do is there's this type of software where it basically sends what you are typing on the keyboard. So if you buy anything online, they can access all of the stuff you typed in. So your credit card info, your address, your phone number.
That's a high-level scam.
All that stuff, yeah. But you got to be careful with who you give your technology to, especially if you're not there watching what they're doing to it. There's all sorts of malware and different stuff they can install. I had a friend of mine who she's pretty sure that she definitely had some of her tech. Some people came into her apartment in China and definitely put something on it to monitor whatever she was doing.
Well, yeah, that's also logging into just random Wi-Fi networks is also another risk there.
Definitely,
because some of those guest or Wi-Fi networks, it's they can see what you're going to.
Yep. That's why you need a VPN. That's why today's episode has been sponsored by... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what is it? ExpressVPN? Is that what the one that all...
Yeah, there's all sorts of them. That's what I used when I was in China. I used Express. I used Nord. There was a third one, too. I forget the third one, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Do you have any other scams you'd like to talk about, Chad?
I mean, there's lots and lots of them, but I think that the key with most travel scams is you need to try to do some homework before you go somewhere, because... Yeah. I think a lot of places, they might have different cultural norms, or might be a language barrier. One other tip I would give to people, though, is you never want to hand over your passport to someone just because they might be police. Because I've read stories of some people where they've handed their passport over to have someone take a look at it or whatever.
Let me see your papers.
Right, and then you have to give them 20, 30, 40, 50, however much money they ask you to get your passport back.
In some countries,
are corrupt police officers.
In some countries, they, as an American at least, if you go to, or probably if you're from anyone outside of the country, you have to leave your passport at the embassy or where's you leave it with the government essentially, and you get it on your way out. That scares me. I mean, that's not I don't know if that's a travel scam per se, but it scares me. I'll say that.
Dude, when I was in China, I didn't have my passport for about 20 days. I couldn't have told you where it was. I gave it to... Actually, it's crazy looking back, dude. I gave it to a student.
Oh, I forgot to record the video. That's okay.
What are you talking about?
It's not recording, is it?
You're recording on Zoom.
Oh, it is. Sorry, I didn't even see it. It didn't show it in the corner for a second. My bad.
You're good. But anyway, so I gave it to a student who then gave it to my foreign affairs officer, who then gave it to whoever needed to process it in that office, who then, it went through at least, I couldn't even tell you how many hands it went through.
Sure.
It's absolutely crazy.
And you were trapped, essentially, for those 20 days.
I mean, I couldn't go. Yeah, that's kind of, I had a paper I could travel within China.
But you were trapped in China is what I'm saying.
Yep. But, it's
you
pretty
just have
crazy.
To hope they get it back to you. We'll get that back to you. Don't worry
exactly.
about it.
Well, I thought maybe it was naive, but I thought, at least I'm with a university affiliated program, I figured it would be okay. And I'm going to knock on some wood. Thankfully, it was okay. At least to
So
my
far.
knowledge, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe someone has stolen my identity.
They're still in the scheming phase. Like, all right,
They're
now that I've
cloning
gotten
a
all of
Chad.
this information, I need to build the profile. They're generating a new social security number in your name.
Exactly. But yeah, I think the other big thing with tourist scams is knowing how to also like communicate with people, but also like keep your boundaries and stay firm. Like it takes some, at least for some people, it takes some practice being able to tell people no or go away.
And I think it's a fine line. I think people are also, people are also afraid to be like the tourist asshole. Sometimes, but you also have to stand up for yourself.
Oh, for sure.
It's sort of a mix of both, and I've gotten pretty good at like just not like just walking past someone as if you don't even register them.
Jared's great at it. He walks by me like that all the time.
Sometimes that's how I leave it when we record in person. I just walk out, no comment.
Right.
Sometimes
Mic
it does
drop.
feel cold sometimes, but it does feel like my own personal defense mechanism.
I'd rather have a little bit of coldness, Jared, in comparison to potentially getting in an argument with somebody.
Well, yeah,
or wasting
for sure.
a bunch of time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other big thing.
Go ahead.
The other big thing too about travel scams is be very careful with anything involved with like money or just buying things from like random people on the street. Most places you go to, there will be legitimate businesses where you can buy this stuff, then I would say it's less likely you're getting scammed. And if you're ever in a place where they want to exchange currency with you on the street, it's just a bad idea. Just don't do it. That could be fake money. I've heard stories of some people in the Czech Republic who would get exchange money, and it turns out it wasn't Czech crowns. It was actually like Bulgarian rubles, which are basically worthless in the Czech Republic. So you give somebody $100 in exchange and then you end up getting $10 back. That's not a great deal.
Yeah. I've definitely experienced in some places in Europe. This is a super small scale, but I remember just like getting random coins from the wrong currency. Like I remember I got like a Canadian quarter one time, and I'm like, how did this even get into like this is a Euro country? Why how did this happen? So, but I mean, I don't know if that's a scam. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the lowest level of scam. You get scammed out of 25 cents or something like that. But that's definitely happened to me sometimes too. That's all I got though.
For sure. One other thing too that has gotten me out of a couple of scams, if you are traveling in a country where you actually speak that language, like there were a few times where I was in Germany walking around, and some guys like in front of these bars really tried to like get me in there. And when I replied to them in German, they basically just were like, "Oh, we thought you were a tourist," and they just kind of let me go. And there weren't any other questions. So I know that maybe isn't the most practical tip because a lot of
the
times,
language fluently to every
or
country you want to travel to.
Learn a couple phrases maybe.
Sure.
Learn a phrase or two if you can say
learn
good
a couple
enough.
phrases so good that it sounds like you know the language.
Right. Well, there was
and then you know
actually
nothing else.
There's actually like a Trevor Noah joke where he talks about how his accent, I guess, in Spanish is pretty good or something like that. But it's good enough where people think he actually can speak Spanish, so they'll start to speak really quickly. And I guess his skill set isn't quite there yet or something like that. But yeah, I just think that's hilarious. If you... Because you could memorize a couple phrases and memorize them pretty well and fool some people for sure.
Sure, yeah.
Scam the scammers, Jared.
Yeah, that would be some high level shit. Every time you just look for scam situations and somehow try to figure out a way to end up getting money out of them.
The pickpocketers.
Yeah. You steal someone's wallet that they've stolen from someone else off of them.
Right. Take the taxi
Michael
driver.
Smith. Oh, that's a random ID. You stole this from someone else.
Pick up the taxi driver in your own car and drive him somewhere.
My parents told me a story of I think maybe their friends in Paris got pickpocketed, but they were like they used to be some sort of law enforcement, And so they noticed, and they sort of
Liam Neeson'd it?
did some work on them in the train station, I think is what I heard.
Really? Did they find it?
No, they got caught in the pickpocketers got caught in the act, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
And they did they worked them up a little bit physically, is what I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gave him a little humble pie. A couple knuckle Sammies. All right.
Listen, there's some a little street justice.
There we go.
All
Nothing
right,
wrong
dude.
with that.
Let's close out this episode.
All righty. Well, all right. Sounds good, I guess.
Oh, did you have more you wanted to say? I'm sorry. I don't realize I was.
I mean, I had a couple more, but that's all right. We can save them for later. I do think it would be fun at some point to do a U.S. focused travel scam episode, because we did talk about a lot of general ones, but there are some really interesting. Like here, I'll give you a little teaser, Jared. One U.S. travel scam I found going on in Florida is the Florida fake pizza flyers. So we'll,
I don't even know what that is.
Good. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, wow.
So you could find out later, Jared, and so can all of our listeners. So thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode. Let us know any other travel scams we missed out on today's episode at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com, or you can slide into our DMs on Twitter, untranslatable1, the number 1. Check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, and YouTube as well. And as we like to say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, dziękujemy, muchas gracias, shisha, and do svidania. Yeah, there's quite a few actually U.S. specific travel scams that we haven't mentioned yet, so we can do that one later. Go ahead.
Someone I follow on Twitter bought a Japanese van, like an imported Japanese van.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of, is it a Toyota Hiace maybe? Here, and she's been hold on, I'll show you a picture of it. And she's been doing a road trip. This thing looks dope. It probably doesn't have as much space as like something like what you have. Here, I'll send you a picture of just an inside view of it. But it has these sweet sunroofs in it. Like there's 3
nice.
separate sunroofs.
Oh,
it also
nice.
has like peasant blockers that has shades in it.
Oh, nice. That looks pretty solid.
Here, maybe let's see if here's a picture.
Do you know how much the van cost?
You can probably get them for 15.
Really? 15 grand?
Yeah, 15 to 20. There are companies that like import them and get them all like legalized.
Okay.
And then you can just buy them already legalized from companies. This is what it looks like.
Legalize it.
And it is right-hand drive though. It's from Japan.
Oh, that's funny. I'll stick with my tranny for now.